So, 11 games in, I would say we're doing pretty well in the Championship. Hi there, how you doing? Welcome to the MyCareer save here on the channel with Football Manager 2024 in the year of our Lord 2025. You know the reason by now. My name is Stu. Thank you for joining me in today's video, which is episode number 10 of Club 2. Obviously, that means this isn't necessarily the 10th episode of the save. If you want to see how we did with the first club before we joined Charlton, go back and have a look. But in today's video, we've got two big games. The first game is against one of our rivals, Millwall. And the second game is against the team who pipped us to second place in League One last season, who were effectively responsible for us needing to go through into the playoffs. And that team is Stockport County. So today we have two home games where we're going to hopefully beat both of them. And if you're excited to see whether we can beat both of them in today's video, then don't forget to leave a big like on the video for me, and do not forget to subscribe as well. It is completely free to do so, and well, you'll keep up to date with all the nonsense that comes out of this space. So, how has it been going since the opening two games of the season? Well, it's been up and down, but I'm pretty happy considering we were promoted via the playoffs in a season where when I joined us at the end of November we were in 17th. I'm pretty happy with this as a result. Obviously, we drew and lost the first two games. We actually lost against Sunderland in the league. I didn't want to click on it and show you that much of it. We actually lost against Sunderland in the league at home 2-0. That was a bit of a learning exercise. We then beat Cardiff and Sheffield United. Cardiff looks more comprehensive than it was. They scored, we scored, and then it took until the 85th minute for us to open the floodgates. But open them we did. But it was a close game. Sheffield Wednesday was a close game. We then back-to-back draws against Ipswich and Blackburn. They were tough. At this point, I started to get a bit panicky and thought the formation isn't working. We were making chances, but not necessarily scoring a lot of goals. We were also really struggling with defending as well. So I went through a bit of a tactical tweaking phase. I did experiment with the 5 at the back system, which just didn't really do a lot for me, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I did actually experiment with it in the Ipswich game, and it looked okay, but again, the problem was kind of converting chances. 5-3-2, very much the same. 5-2-1-2, very much the same. Abandoned that pretty much straight away. Went back to a 4-4-2. Diamond won against Hull. Great stuff. Then drew against Portsmouth, who of course won League One last season. I'm perfectly okay with that. The Leeds United game. This was a tough one. A really, really tough one. If you look at the goals, we were 3 goals down, and then before half time we got back to 3-2. But that second half, we had chances, they had chances, but we certainly had the better chances, and just a little bit heartbroken we couldn't get the job done there. But I'm very proud of the boys because they were in the midst of a comeback, and we could feel a little bit hard done by with that one. And then the final game before an international break, we beat Burnley 2-0. I did also put in a cheeky friendly against Neaton Borough just to keep us fresh. But we have got those two games as mentioned against Millwall and Stockport today. Now, transfers. 5th of August was the last time that you saw us. It ended up being a bit of a hard slog, the end of the transfer window. It was going really, really well, but then it was a little bit messy. So we did bring in a couple more players. So, first of all, Ayub Hall. We got him in from Chelsea. He is here. He's on loan until the end of the season, and he's been a bit of a superstar for us so far, although he is determined to be a wide centre-back, which he's not going to be. I then signed this guy, Oriol Busquets, who I don't know how well known he is. I don't know how much other people use him, but I've used this guy before. I've always been really happy when I've used him before, and I'm very happy to get him. It's taken a little while to actually kind of integrate into the team, but he certainly has done that. And I'm very, very happy to have him with us. And then we signed Finn Azaz from Middlesbrough. I looked at him multiple times throughout the transfer window, but every time a club was in for him on a permanent, but no one committed to it. We've now got him on loan. Similar to Busquets, he's taken a while to kind of get into the rhythm of playing with the team, but he is starting to get there and starting to look good. And he was signed basically to be an attacking midfielder because we needed one. In terms of transfers out, not really any big ones that we need to mention, just players going out on loan really. And Kahim Dixon going out on a free. So that was the transfer business done. It was a real slog to get these final few deals over the line. And we had a lot of other deals that did not come to fruition. Some of them before we even went for these two. So It was a struggle. It genuinely was. But anyway, this is going to be the 11 for the game against Millwall. Millwall, who, if you don't know, because I wasn't too sure, are a fierce rival of Charlton. So we really need to win this one, to be fair. We really do. What helps as well is Millwall are 23rd in the league, and this is a home game. We've got an excellent chance. Stockport as well, which is going to be the game after this, also in and around the relegation zone. So we really need to take advantage of that. Right, here's the 11. It is going to be Iverson in goal, Shahar, Fish, Hall and McCallum in defence, Wiradou, Piccolo and Busquets in the kind of midfield three, with Azaz as the tip of the diamonds, supporting Sims and Phillips up front. A couple of players have had injuries. Phillips is one of them. He's had an injury recently, and Wiradou has also had one as well. Phillips has struggled. He's had some games where he's been really good in front of goal, some games where he's not been so good in front of goal. In fact, the entire front line, despite the fact that they're all good strikers, and we know for a fact that Phillips is a quality striker, Sims can do it at this level, and Scully is a decent player as well. Despite all of that, they have struggled in front of goal. I mean, I don't know whether... We'll go back to here. What does it say? Goal scored, 8th worst. We need to improve on that. I think we are starting to, but we need to be a bit more consistent about it, which hopefully we will be. Right. Let's get to the game, shall we? Let's see whether we can get 3 points against our fierce rivals. It is a home game. I'm hoping that gives us an advantage, but it's Football Manager. Anything can happen, as we all know. Right. The Valley. It looks pretty busy, which is good to see. I'll have a double check of the attendance. I can't remember what our capacity. I know it's 20. I'm pretty sure it's 20-something thousand, and I think we're in and around there for attendance this season, which is good because it is an area that we wanted to improve on. Right, there's the table again, just to confirm. They're on 5 points. We're currently on 16. I'll take that. I'll take 11th, 12th, 13th, anywhere in and around there. I will take that. I'll take anything that's not relegation, and even if we get relegated, it's not the end of the world. Other news as well, I have actually signed a new contract. So the contract we signed halfway through last season when we joined was due to expire at the end of this season. They've offered me an extension for, I want to say it's 3 years. So I got a little bit more change in our pocket. And there was something else good about that. Oh yeah, there was like the get relegated, then it gets reduced by a certain amount. If you get promoted, it gets increased by a certain amount. So I had those clauses in there as well. I've got no plans of leaving though. I'm actually really enjoying the move to Charlton. The one thing I think that I have noticed already, and I'm not thinking ahead to leaving. My goodness me. I'm not thinking ahead to leaving at all, but I think financially we are going to struggle at this club. I just don't see us having enough money to properly build the team up. If we could save money year on year for the transfer budget, then maybe, but that's not obviously how it works. You know, if you don't spend your money, you'll just get the same money again. So I think, you know, there's a lot of players who are here on loan. Busquets, obviously, Shahar, obviously, Hall, obviously. Those guys are absolute quality players who are not going to be here next season unless we can miraculously get I'll tell you what, Sims is so unlucky there. Unless we can get them on another loan. And 9 times out of 10, trying to get a player back on a loan can be incredibly difficult. So trying to balance that is going to be interesting next season. I'm assuming we'll be in the Championship with how we've done in the first 11 games, but it's going to be interesting to try and kind of build on top of what we've already got, because the base we've got at the moment, realistically, it's not the best base in the world. It's basically a top-end League One base that we've got, and then we've got 1 or 2 players who are better. Wiradou, by the way, doing some absolute work there, and we just get unlucky with the pinballing ground. Again, our finishing is just it's not even necessarily our finishing, it's our final ball in is a bit of a problem. Just having the ability to kind of see the final pass. We're having shots where we perhaps shouldn't be having shots, and then we're not necessarily getting our players into the best positions, which is a bit frustrating at the moment. Like, that was a shot there, but maybe I'd have preferred Sims to head it down so someone else can have a go. I mean, it was offside in the end, so it didn't really matter. But there's things like that which I think we need to get, well, we absolutely need to get better at. Now, I wanted to solve that with the midfield. Piccolo hasn't really looked the playmaker I wanted him to be, which is why Busquets has come in. Busquets is getting there, slowly but surely. And actually, Busquets Piccolo midfield is very much something I'm very happy with. Azaz has broken through here, and Azaz has gone and scored. I was just about to say, Azaz is also a player I'm hoping will help bridge that gap, because he's a He's a facilitator, but also he can kind of get the job done himself, which is exactly what he's done there. And he's made it 1-0 in the 16th minute, which is glorious. Busquets gets it through to Azaz. Azaz just runs through the centre-back. The strikers occupy both centre-backs there, and the full-back ends up having to come over to try and do something, but by that point it's too late. So it actually worked really, really well. I'm really, really happy with the way that our strikers occupied in there. Phillips not having the best of games, but I will let him off because he definitely played a part in that goal. We're all over them at the moment, which is good to see. But it needs to translate to more than one goal. Because, like that, that'll do. That'll do. Phillips with the second of the game. His first, our second. He's back from injury. Just as I'm saying, we need another goal to kind of make the most of our dominance. Realistically, you know what I'm like. I don't like a 2-0 scoreline. I like a 3-0 scoreline at a minimum. It's a great pass. I tell you what, this Shahar, by the way, first game wasn't convincing. Full back on attack, chef's kiss. McCallum as well, as a wing back on support on the other side, he's doing a good job as well. I'm really happy with the full backs we've got. We won't talk about the fact that we don't really have much in the way of replacements for them. It's not really relevant at this point. But that is a great start to the game. 2 goals. We look dominant. We are dominant. Jobs are good, but I, again, would like a third goal just to settle things down a little bit more and just make sure that we can just see the game out. But 2 will do for the time being. 2 will absolutely do. I'm very, very happy indeed. Have a word with Riverdoo, one of our team leaders, and just have a quick chat with him. I'm kind of going to leave everyone else. We don't need to say anything to anyone else. We're just going to go out there. I'm not even going to do a shout. Normally I'd shout and say demand more for the second half. We're just going to let them get on with it and see whether they'll just do it. Right, corner in, Fish is there. How many chances have we had like that in this game? We've had so many where it's gone so close to going in. We're getting the shots there. It's just unfortunate that we're not getting the kind of the finish to be as good as it could be. Right, Busquets gets to Wiradoo. Wiradoo, he's gone for a worldie and hits the top of the net. I tell you what, I'd have loved that. I don't know why he's shooting from there, but I'd have loved it if they'd gone in. I'd have loved it. We are all over them, by the way. Millwall are just struggling in this game. Big cross. It comes to Shahar. Flicks it on. Looking for Phillips, who just heads it over. Unlucky. I've been debating as well, going on low crosses, because we do try and go in the air quite a bit. And while when Sims is on, he can win things in the air. His jumping's good. His heading's good, but he's not the tallest. So that's something that I do bear in mind with it as well. Right. Fish. So close, but there is Azaz to pick up the scraps. And there is my 3-0. And Finn Azaz is starting to come alive in this team. And the diamond is starting to fully settle in now as well, which is good. I was really worried with the first few games of the season, just in terms of the inconsistency. Although I knew we weren't going to be consistent. We're a League One team. But I'm starting to feel a bit more comfortable because I'm seeing us play better. The way we were playing just wasn't great. We had that experiment with the 5 at the back. I'm kind of glad it didn't work. I'm glad it didn't persist with that, because I think going back to the diamond, well, the proof is in the pudding. And the proof of the pudding is in the eating, I should say, and we are having a feast at the moment. Right, a rare highlight for Millwall here, looking to try and get one back on us. Big shot there, and Iverson with the big boy save. It is around the time for substitutions. I will wait until this corner is done, though, and then we will complete them. Right, Mitchell with the corner. Looking to whip it in here. He does so, and it is with the head of one of our players. Azaz trying to meet it, doesn't quite get there, and the highlight does end. Right, substitutes. We're just going to go for fitness here. Shahar is tired. Now, Jamie Shackleton has just come back from injury, and I've got Romani Edmonds-Green. Edmonds-Green, to be fair, has been both backup for Wiradoo, or rotation for Wiradoo, as well as a full-back replacement as well. I'm actually thinking Jamie Shackleton, who's just come back from injury, he can come on, he can fill the gap. I think we'll do that. We'll keep him on attack as well, because again, he's naturally a midfielder, so he will like to get forward. So we'll do that to begin with. And I'm thinking taking Wiradoo off, and I'm thinking Edmonds-Green can come on in his place. So we'll go with that. The only player who hasn't actually hit a 7 rating in the game, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll do that for now. Still got 3 changes left. I think that'll freshen the team up nicely. 1 defensive option, 1 midfield option. Let's get to the rest again. Let's see if we can get a 4th. A 4th would be lovely, but I'm quite happy with what we've got. Right, free kick from Piccolo. He's good at them. Not that good at them. Set him up to fail there, really, didn't I? Right, getting into my final kind of area for substitutions. I'm thinking Sims. He's just dropped under a 7. Let's take him off. Give him a bit of a break. That's Josh Phillips. Let's not make that mistake. Finn Azaz has just picked up a knock. I am tempted to leave him on just because he's on a hat-trick. I feel like taking him off on a hat-trick would be mean. What I am going to do is go take Hall off for Watts. We'll get Watts a few minutes, and then I'm going to leave the other substitution just in case Azaz doesn't recover. And then we'll just take him off as a precaution if we feel like we need to. Is he recovering? He's recovering a little bit, so that's something at the very least. And I think we'll leave the final substitution. We'll just see the game out here. That is a good result. Gets us into 9th, actually. That's a really good result against local rivals. Really happy with that. Really, really happy with that. I thought that might be a little bit tighter than that. But that is a stunning result and a stunning victory. I will take that all day long. Fish on form with an assist. Lovely stuff. Right, well, biggest game of the episode over. Let's go ahead and get to the Stockport game in 7 days. And let's see whether we can get past them the same way we did against... I need to say Bournemouth then for some reason. Why did I need to say Bournemouth? See if we can get past them the same way we did against Millwall. I'll see you in a moment. The Stockport did finish 2nd in League 1 last season, getting automatic promotion. That was 1 place above us. Only 4 points ahead of us, though, once everything was all said and done. We obviously got through the playoffs. Today, we get to batter them, hopefully. Anyway, if it all goes to plan, we'll be battering them. But you watch, it'll probably blow up in my face now I've said that. We're going to start with Iverson in goal, Shahar, Fish, Hall and McCallum in defence. Riverdew, Piccolo, Busquets and Azaz in the middle with Sims and Phillips up front. It is pretty much the usual suspects. This is more or less the strongest starting 11 that I have, that I typically have been using. And it's the 2nd game in a row that we're getting to do that as well. Finn Azaz, I think he must have picked up a knock in the game, but he didn't actually show up as being injured or anything like that. So everyone's fully fit. We've had a full 7 days, which has been a bit rare for the beginning of this season, which has been quite nice, as well as off the back of the international break. It's been very nice indeed, actually. So good to see the team a little bit fresher. You could say not very much the same for Spennymoor. It's not Spennymoor, goodness me, Stockport. I've had a look at how Spennymoor were doing, which I will try and remember to show you once this game has completed. Stockport currently on 8 points, not very many. We're on more than that, obviously. Probably on around 18 or 19 now. I didn't quite see what it was. We'll have a look on the table here. Yeah, it says 20, so we'll be on 19 at the moment. So we are doing rather well. But we can't take it for granted. Just because Stockport aren't doing very well doesn't mean, bearing in mind they were a team that we were quite close to last season in terms of quality, doesn't mean that they're not going to be able to put kind of do a job on us. It really doesn't mean that at all. So we need to be kind of with our wits about us and not take them too lightly here. And I've gone for a strongest starting 11 as a result of that, which is currently not doing anything because at the moment they are matching us, which is a bit of a disappointment. I don't really like how we went ahead so early in the Millwall game when they're more of a regular championship team. I don't really like that, but, you know, hopefully we can put that to bed quite quickly. Right, Busquets with a lovely ball out to Shahar. Shahar looking for options, gets it to Azaz. Azaz, I thought that had gone in for a second and doing everything that I want him to do other than going for the shot. That's the one thing I didn't really want him to do there. I'm also not a massive fan on Busquets being on a yellow card so early on. Now, Busquets does that every now and then. He will give the ball away and be a bit loose in possession, which for a playmaker is a little bit disappointing. And it almost led to a goal. It's actually a save from Iverson there that's bailed us out, which a bit disappointing, a bit concerning. If I feel like I have to, I will shout at the team and tell them they need to wake themselves up a bit, because this does not look like the same team. I was about to say the desire isn't there the way it was in the last game. It wouldn't be, though. The last game was a derby. So it makes sense that it wouldn't be, but I would like to see a little bit more from us. Now, they have an injury here to Ralston. I say they have an injury. We've caused an injury, obviously. But it doesn't look like he's actually gone off. Right, I'm going to demand more from the boys, which I've already done, actually. So I'll demand more again. I'm not very happy with the start. They are getting yellow cards aplenty. I would not be surprised if we see a red card in this game, just looking at that. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on my boys a bit. Now, that's not a particularly good first half from us, particularly after the last game. So I'm actually going to say that. I think our shooting has been a bit woeful. Josh Phillips, very inconsistent. He's not inconsistent in terms of his traits or anything like that. He's just inconsistent. At the moment he is anyway. Right, we'll shout at them. We'll tell you to avoid a yellow card. We'll tell you to step things up a little bit. And we'll tell you 3, you're doing all right. I'm also going to go attacking because we should be doing better than them at the moment. Wiradou's going to come off. Edmonds Green is going to come on. And I'm going to keep Phillips on for the time being because he's got a bit of magic in his boots. But we need to be doing better in this game. I am just going to go to Azaz and just double check. He is on shoot less often, so hopefully he just thinks a little bit better next time. Right, Hall now. Looking to get the ball forward. Gets to Piccolo. Piccolo into Fish. Fish out wide to Shahar. Shahar. Another decent game from him. Not necessarily his best, but he's been solid. Right, Fish going backwards here. Goes all the way back to Iverson. Iverson out to Hall. Hall into McCallum. McCallum looking for options ahead of him. He hasn't really got that many of them and gives the ball away as a result, but he actually wins the ball straight back, which is good work from him. Right, Busquets. Big ball over the top looking for Phillips. Phillips is going to get there, you know. He's not the best passer, though. Could do with some support. Gets it from Busquets into Piccolo. And what a goal that is from Mathis Piccolo. And that is exactly what I wanted. 1-0, 47th minute. Boom. And it's the midfield pair of Piccolo and Busquets who combine there. But we have to talk about the work from Phillips here. Not very good at passing or anything like that, but finds Busquets beautifully. Lovely work from Busquets to find his midfield partner. And there is 1-0. More of the same, please, boys. That's a lovely combination. And again, really good to see Phillips involved. I would have bumped his rating up higher with that because he was a huge part of why that goal worked. But the initial pass from him did come from Busquets. So you've got to give him credit there. Speaking of which, there he is again, working with McCallum. Looking for Phillips here. Ah, Phillips desperately unlucky. Desperately. Again, we do love to go with a cross a little bit. We do love it a bit more than I would prefer us to. Right, McCallum now. Floating it in, looking for Shahar. Can't quite find him. Piccolo can't get on the end of it either. Edmonds Green will pick it up to recycle. I don't know whether we'll get the full highlight here or whether the highlight will end. It's key. Well, I was going to say it keeps going, but it's stopped now. Right, Ralston, who's somehow still on the pitch despite going down. Oh, Busquets. 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 I said there's going to be a red card. I thought he was going to be one of their players. We go ahead, and then one of the players who's playing the best goes off with a red card. Well, okay then. That changes things a little bit. I think Finn's going to have to drop into the midfield, isn't he? I think he's going to have to. Oh, that's a blow, that is. Right. Well. Let's... If I can. There we go. And then I'm going to have him be a centre mid on attack. We want to continue him getting forward. And then... Well, I don't know what to do now, to be honest with you. That's really flummoxed me. Because we were doing really well up until that point. Other than they had 1 or 2 highlights. Finn actually hasn't played that well, so I could take him off. And I could bring on maybe Aaron Henry. And we have Henry be a Mazzala on attack. Normally he's on support, but we put him on attack maybe. Try and link up the attack and the defence as best as he can do. Well, I can demand more from the boys. They're going to have to work a bit harder now, which is annoying because we've done really, really good work to get into this position. And then I think it was a harsh yellow card as well, personally, but that's just me. But he's literally been, over the last few games, such an important player to us. And the playmaking position is one that we really struggle. Oh, Piccolo. Good game, and then he goes and does that. Henry does well there. Slightly tactical foul, but he's actually gone away with it. McCallum now running forward. Actually ran ahead of Phillips there. Henry now looking for Sims. Sims has broken free, and Sims has made it too. There's no flag up or anything, and we've gone ahead even more. And we've only got 10 men on the pitch. Get in there, boys. Come on. More of that, please. More of that, please. McCallum driving forward here, doing really well. Realises he needs men. And we managed to pass it around a little bit. What's a wonderful pass here. And Phillips almost does a bit of a decoy run to kind of make it look like the ball's going to go to him. And again, I like his racing bumped up for that. But Sims just starting to pick up these occasional scrappy goals here. Not that was the biggest scrappy goal in the world, but still, he did a good job at working with what he was given. And I'm very, very happy with him on that. And that just gives us a bit more of a chance here. Puts us in 8th if we win, which is nuts to me. We were in 12th at the beginning of the episode, and we might finish in 8th. Right, Shahar looking for Henry. I tell you what, Aaron Henry's come on the pitch due to a sending off, and he has changed the way that we've played. He's been dynamic. He's been all action. He's been our biggest goal threat. He's looked sensational since he's come on the pitch, and it's an absolute delight. And it doesn't even look like we're a man down because he's doing the work of 2 players. Sims was down holding his ankle there. I'm hoping that's not an actual injury. It doesn't look like it is. Right. Final changes. We've got 3 changes left. I'm going to make them all now. Josh Phillips is going to come off for Scully. He's not had a good game, Phillips. We were hoping he might be able to play his way back in. He's not been able to. I'm actually also going to take off McCallum and bring on Watts. Shahari's going to come off as well. Edmonds Green will move to right back. And then I'm going to bring on Jamie Shackleton, who's going to hold things down in the midfield. Again, I could move him to full-back, but we'll go with that. Get those three on. Get Shackleton a few more minutes under his belt as well. And then we'll hopefully see the game out with that. Henry again. What a... I mean, not even a turnaround. We've already 1-0 up, but what an impact on the game. A goal and an assist from the bench after that red card for Busquets, which I'm still not overly happy about, but wonderful work. Right, Watts, who is very much more of a fullback. Pass it to Henry, who hopefully is going to do some good work to get us out of this situation. Goes back to Iverson here. Don't do anything stupid, please, boys. Right, Fish into Piccolo. Floats it over to Edmonds Green. Lovely work there to get to Edmonds Green. Edmonds Green driving into the box here. Gets it into Sims. And that should have been a goal. It's hit the post. It's going to be a throw into Stockport. But my goodness me, that was really, really nice play from us. Edmonds Green actually has looked really good as a right-back this season. Funny that. He kind of matched it. I mean, he wants to be a centre-back. He's not playing as a centre-back ever for me. But he can play as a right-back if centre-mid's off the table. And with Jamie Shackleton as a permanent member of the squad, we can either play him there or shift other players around if we feel like we need to. I've got no fear of playing someone else in midfield to give Edmonds Green a chance to play at right back. I mean, it's unfortunate that we've conceded that. I'm not that bothered by it, to be fair. There's not enough time left for them to get 2 goals to equalise, but I can feel a little bit disappointed, but also I will take it. But yeah, it means that we've got 2 solid right backs now as well. Left back was still not a solid. Watts is one of our rotation centre backs, but he's currently playing as a left back. It's not ideal. We've got another youngster who can play as a left back as well, and we've still got one of the players who was here when I signed last season for the club, who just isn't really a good player for this level. He was a good player for League One level, to be honest. So how he's still here, I don't really know. But it is what it is. I'm really happy with those pair of results. We have earned that, and we've earned that 8th place position in the league, which, to be fair, if Swansea win their game in hand, it'll probably go down to 9th. I'm delighted with where we are, to be fair. Absolutely delighted. It's been a really good start to the season. Yes, we've lost a few games, but we are winning games as well. Only the one game, which I'm going to not touch it. There's nothing I can do about it anyway. But he's acknowledged that he deserves to be fined. That's part of the code of conduct, which I'm glad that he's happy with. Right, that is that. 2 wins. Really happy with that. 3-0 and 3-1. Really, really happy with that. So now, when are we going to be back? Well, we'll go through October. We'll probably go through November as well. And we'll come back in and around kind of early December. Coventry and Middlesbrough feel like a good pair of games. I'm looking at those, A, because I've got a bit of a soft spot for Coventry, and B, because why not? I don't really know. But it'll be a home game and an away game as well, so we can see how we do on the road. I mean, at the moment, we beat Hull away from home, beat Burnley away from home, beat Cardiff away from home. So away from home, we've had mixed fortune. We lost against Sunderland, we drew against Ipswich, and we lost against Leeds. But we aren't too bad away from home. So actually, I'm quite looking forward to that and seeing how we will get on. Now, in terms of the Championship table, that is how it will look at the end of the video. It is West Brom's to lose. Bristol City, by the way, who we played on the opening game of the season, currently in 2nd in the automatic promotion place to the Premier League. So we did well against them. I will take that all day long. I will take that. Current playoff teams are Ipswich, Norwich, Birmingham and Middlesbrough. We are 2 places behind them. I am not expecting us to be there at the end of the season. I really don't think it would benefit us in the slightest if we got promoted. I think it would be awful. I think we need at least another season in the Championship to even be thinking about it. But that's how the table is looking. I feel like, again, looking at some of the games that we've got coming up, I'm thinking, the next 2 games are going to be really difficult. Stoke and Norwich. And then West Brom, obviously, we've got next month, along with Fulham as well. And I think, Coventry and Middlesbrough should be fine. Middlesbrough might be a bit more difficult. Middlesbrough currently in the playoff places. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do. But I'm delighted with how we're doing in the league so far. I did not think in my wildest dreams we'd be doing quite as well as we are. None of our players on here. Doesn't really matter. And let's just see if the season preview has changed at all. Nope. Actually, our odds have got worse. We were 50-1 before. Apparently, our odds are even worse. But I would say, looking at the table, our odds are pretty good. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget to leave a like on there for me. And don't forget to subscribe as well. It's completely free to do so. And you'll put a big smile on this face right here. I've been Stu. You guys have been awesome. And I will catch you in the next video. Cheers.